Hey everybody, my kids are at preschool and I have got the groceries put up, so I'm gonna try to do this video. And it's gonna be live, so it's gonna probably be a little weird. That's okay. So anyhow, as you see here, I've been requested to do sort of a face-off on, and this camera angle is gonna be like wild and crazy, so buckle up. But I've been requested to do sort of a head-by-head comparison of the, like if you were down to, you knew you wanted one of these wheels, but you weren't sure which one, how, in my opinion, you could make the right choice. So here we have the spinolution Bullfrog, which is brand new and just came out, and then down here we have the spinolution pollywog, which is a long-time favorite. So, as you see, the first big main difference is size. So, and I may just carry this camera around. The Bullfrog does have the flip down foot pedal or foot rest that the pollywog does not. I personally don't. I like having it on the Bullfrog because it does have the bigger pedals. So, I feel like getting your feet up is kind of helpful. On the pollywog, I don't miss it at all. I know some people are bothered by the lack of heel rest and will actually put like a little book or piece of wood or something back here, on the pollywog. So, that's neither here nor there. So we do have the footrest. You see there is definitely a size difference in the wheels. The Bullfrog is not like the world's most tremendous wheel by any means, but it's definitely bigger than the pollywog, which is going to give you a lot more power. I've got this pollywog currently shown with the 12-ounce upgrade here. What it comes with on just the standard model, and I will get more into this in a minute, is the 4-ounce upgrade. You can see I have yarn on this one I was working on. So the pollywog normally comes with the 4-ounce head, which, as you see, is definitely much smaller than this 16-ounce. So, as far as the 12-ounce bobbin goes, if you want a side-by-side comparison to a 16-ounce, because the only wheel that has the 12-ounce is the pollywog. This is the 16-ounce, it's the regular length, and this is the 12-ounce, and it's like short and squatty. So the 12-ounce is definitely a funnier looking bobbin, just because it's the same width, or as the, height as the 4-ounce bobbin, which is right here, but obviously much bigger around. So this is the 12-ounce for the pollywog, the 4-ounce for the pollywog, and the 16 for the Bullfrog. So you see big difference there. But I would, as far as the treadle motion goes, let's see, I will, nope, that's not even the right one. Ignore that I just did that, here we go. Let me bring this over here, and I will angle the camera down where you can see it. So the treadle on these are my absolute favorite treadle, which is why I was so excited about the Bullfrog. And if you are a lover of the pollywog treadle, you will know what I'm talking about. So this is, like I said, once again with the 12-ounce upgrade on the pollywog. And the treadle on the, and see my heels just go right on the floor. I personally find the treadle on both of these, they're very similar. And I find it the most responsive. My King Bee I also love, but it's definitely, and I've talked about that before, much more of a all the way down, sort of a rocking motion, I feel like, on the King Bee. And I feel like the Echo too. It's not to the extent of the King Bee, but it's more of a rock. Whereas with the treadle, especially on the pollywog, but with the Bullfrog too, I find it's just effortless. I mean, you can do it with one toe here. And that's one thing that always kind of gets me. And if anybody's on here and wants to ask questions, I'm happy to do whatever your question is here with the wheels. People, always make jokes of, oh, your legs must be killing you from doing that all the time. And I always just kind of want to be like, dude, you can, like, especially on this one, I'm like, you can do it with, like, one toe. Like it treadles itself. So they both have the similar treadle action, which is the little ball bearing is in the middle, and then it's got these cute little feet that, you know, move it around. And I mean, it's just effortless on that one. So it's going to be the same treadle on this one. We'll move over here. So this is the Bullfrog. And so you see my feet do go on, the heels go here, and it's exactly the same thing, which I was completely thrilled with when I took the Bullfrog out of the box and tried it, was that it was the same motion. I don't have the world's best ankles, and these are definitely my favorite treadles. But it's so smooth, and you can see it's the same idea where the feet move the little ball bearing there in the middle, and then you get this great spinning action. And I mean, just like the pollywog, you can do this with one foot. And once you get them going, I mean, they just go by themselves. So both of them have the same treadle, which I would say is the biggest benefit of both of them, is the treadle motion on them. They both have a simple, you know, setup with one band that goes around the wheel, and they both have a lazy Kate on the top. On the pollywog, it bolts. Let's see, let me move this camera. Here we go. Let's go back. On the pollywog, it just bolts together right here. On the Bullfrog, as seen on my other videos, it has like a little button where it will fold, and it does have a handle. The pollywog has the option of upgrades and accessories. This is the, what is this thing again? The accelerator. This is the accelerator that can be added to the pollywog, and then you would just unbolt the top head, add the accelerator, it would bolt on here, and then you would put your the head, most likely the 4-ounce head, then goes on top. So then they're all three stacked up. And that does give you extra height, you know, so this would be raised up to about here. And it does give you, I was just talking to someone last night, the purpose of the accelerator, which, in my full honest opinion, unless you are just like crazy about the lake's weight, or you just really want it taller, I don't think it's an absolute necessity. It gives you these extra gears. Oh, and it looks like the internet has frozen up on me. Hello, internet. Are you still there? Okay, well, I'm going to hope it's still recording. I'm going to keep talking anyhow. So, it does give you the extra gears, which is good if you really want extreme high speeds or controls or options for super, super thin yarn. I personally think that it is, you know, equally good. Here, let me see if I can get the stupid camera. It's frozen up on me. Why, camera? Why do you do this to me? Stupid YouTube. Well, I don't know what to do about this. It looks like it's still filming, but the camera's frozen. If you're on here, is it live or am I frozen? Can you answer? I don't know. This is aggravating. All right. There we go. Okay, we're moving again. I apologize for YouTube's weirdness there. So that would be the accelerator if for whatever reason you didn't see that because the camera froze. The other option for the pollywog is your 12-ounce head, which you don't need that option on the Bullfrog because you already have giant 16-ounce bobbins. They both have the tension block here on the side, which is what controls the uptake of the yarn. So other than that, they're really similar. The biggest difference, besides the size and the bobbin head, is the Bullfrog folds, pollywog comes apart, so they both can be travel, you know. The other big difference is the foot pedal is the pedal part itself is bigger on the Bullfrog than the pollywog, and the Bullfrog has the heel plate, whereas this one does not. So those are, like I said, if anybody wants me to show any specific features on these, I'm happy to. Let me have this where you're not talking to my kneecaps. Okay, so like I said, I'm happy to switch that back if anybody needs to see, like, hey, I want to see the back. If you were trying to decide between buying one versus the other, I would consider price, obviously. Let's see, the pollywog base model with the 4-ounce bobbins is $3.99, and the pollywog, the only way it comes, is $7.99, so like right at $800. If you end up buying the 12-ounce upgrade for the pollywog, as I've talked about in the other bundles, which is this whole second half with like the big head with the 12-ounce drum. If you decide you want more yardage or bigger yarn or whatever on your pollywog, don't make me quote exact numbers, but it's like right at $400. So you're gonna end up, for this wheel right here, you know, with the pollywog with the big head, retailed would be like right around $800. So they're gonna, if you end up, that's if you get the big head, not if you keep it with the little one. So that's why I would say your first thing you would want to consider is just like, one, how much money can you spend? And two, like what kind of yarn? I think that's always what it comes down to, is like what type of yarn do you want to make? Like, do you want to make tons and tons of yardage because you hate weaving in ends? Do you want to make big, you know, chunkier art yarn? Then, you know, you would definitely want a bigger bobbin. If you're like all about some lace weight, then you would want, you know, you could definitely be fine with the pollywog. And I do have other videos. I'm not trying to act like you can't spin bulkier yarn on a 4-ounce bobbin. You can. So does the Bullfrog accommodate any other size bobbin? It does not. The Bullfrog, that's kind of, I guess, the con of the Bullfrog versus the pollywog, is it comes with 16-ounce bobbins. It comes with 3 of them, and that's what it is. So it's like the bees, whereas that's what it is. Like, you know how a queen bee, like, it's just 4-ounce, and king bees, like, just 8-ounce. Bullfrog is currently just 16-ounce. So that would be the big pro for getting the pollywog. Is great. For the reason I ended up with it first was, if you're just kind of getting into spinning and you're like, I have so many hobbies, I don't want to drop so much money on a wheel, the pollywog's great because you can kind of get your feet wet at a lower price point. And then if you choose to get the, at a later date, the other upgrades, or I mean, you probably just need one or the other. So we'll just say if you choose in the future to get the 12-ounce upgrade, then, you know, you ended up spending that money later. But I think there's a lot to be said for, you know, you didn't have to get off of all of it at once. The Bullfrog is fabulous, and I really like it. If you know that you love spinning, or you know that you are going to want bigger bobbins, like just from the jump, like because you want to do lots of yardage, or you just want a slightly bigger wheel, then I definitely think the Bullfrog would be what I would recommend, because if not, you're going to end up spending just as much money, if not like a few dollars more, getting the same result, but with the pollywog. So if you know you want bigger bobbins, or you know you want to do thicker yarn, or you know you just physically want a larger wheel with more power, 100% go with the Bullfrog. If you are kind of on the fence about spinning, you really like spinning thinner yarns, or, you know, you just kind of want to like try it out, the pollywog with the 4-ounce head on it, and sorry, Jolene's barking in the background, is fantastic, and it's a wonderful wheel, and I definitely don't want to like dissuade people against it. But if you want, like I said, you know you want bigger bobbins, I'd say go with the Bullfrog. Anybody have any questions? So I hope that helps. Like I said, that's what I was going over, kind of all these things with somebody yesterday. One thing I will note, just from having spun on both of them, and this is especially, like I said, if you're wanting the 12-ounce upgrade, having the slightly bigger wheel on the Bullfrog, I feel you just get more power per push. So when you're doing, like, if you're really filling up a bobbin, on the pollywog, if you're really filling up a bobbin, or you're 2-plying, you definitely, I feel like you need to increase the tension a little bit to get, you know, when it's filling up, to get a stronger pull in, which, I mean, that's what the tension knob's there for, so, I mean, not like that's the end of the world. But you do get a little bit more power per push on the Bullfrog than you do on the pollywog. So That would be, I guess, my kind of biggest advantage. And I obviously do spinning for a living, so the Bullfrog would be my production wheel more so. Let's see, do these wheels take the fiber, or do you have to feed it in? That is a good question. Here, let me grab some fiber and I will spin a little bit and you can see. So, wait right here. Alright, so what I've been working on here, and this is like a weird blend of a bunch of different things, including alpaca. The wheel should take it in by itself. It is a stronger uptake, which I like. Let me get this on the right gear here. Because I started out on a Lewitt, which has, in my opinion, a pretty strong uptake. And this is like supposed to be funky yarn here. But with the proper tension applied, it definitely, I mean, you can see I'm not like feeding it in. I mean, it definitely, the wheel is taking it, which is what I really like. I don't want a wheel, and I honestly haven't spun on too many different ones where you do have to really feed it in. I want a wheel that's, you know, kind of like I know it's there. So, let's see, I have a Lewitt. Yeah, that's what I started on. I loved my Lewitt for exactly that reason. When I sat down and I tried a bunch of like way quote-unquote fancier wheels versus that Lewitt, when I was first learning to spin, I sat down at the Lewitt and it had the tension like this where it actually like that took it in. I like that it, yeah, no, me too. That was 100% me with the Lewitt. I liked the tension, and I was actually really nervous when I got the pollywog because I'd never spun in a spinolution before, but because it was a different Scotch tension, I was really worried about that too. And so I was really happy when it, you know, that wasn't a problem. But no, they definitely take it in. Like I said, the pollywog, just because it has a little bit less power to get, if you feel like it's not taking it in enough, you would want to increase the tension on here a little bit. And I mean, that's totally not a big deal. So you increase that a little bit and that gives it a stronger pull in. Ones that I have to feed in made me think that there was a, yeah, no, full disclosure, I have experience on Lewitts and I have experience on spinolutions, and I do not have much experience on other ones. So I don't have much to say about that, and I don't want to be like trash talking other wheel brands, but I know that's an important feature for me too. So, but yeah, you know, like I said, I'm happy to spin this yarn a little bit if anybody else has any questions. But yeah, the uptake is definitely good. Oh, and that did remind me when I was on here, the Bullfrog has what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gears back here on the Golden Whirl, whereas the Pollywog's only going to have 3. The Spinolution website says Bullfrog also compatible with 8-ounce bobbin. That is, we can show you that right now. Hold on, because I have my King Bee with my 8-ounce bobbin sitting over here. That is a really good point. And actually, hold on, mine will probably not work. Yeah, I have an older King Bee. So these are the 8-ounce bobbins off my other King Bee. And I can't show you that this would go on here because the older ones have the smaller rod in the middle. But if you had a newer one that had the newer 8-ounce bobbins would have a rod that this, you know, the hole that would fit this larger rod. And you see they're the same depth there. So the 8-ounce bobbins would fit on here. Just make sure you have newer ones and not older ones like this one off my older King Bee. I do the same thing with my pollywog, and I always joke that it makes it look like a Frankenstein. I like to leave the, what is this thing? The 12-ounce head on here, and because I'm lazy and don't switch back and forth, I will put my 4-ounce bobbins on my 12-ounce pollywog head, and it's exactly the same idea as putting the 8-ounce on here. And then, you know, you pop this on here, and I will actually spin singles onto the 4 ounces if I'm like 2-plying, and then when I 2-ply, I'll 2-ply it onto the big one. And that's how I use my pollywog like 90% of the time. So it would be the same exact idea on the Bullfrog. Just make sure you get, like if you're buying bobbins from somebody else, the newer bobbins with the bigger shaft in order to go on the Bullfrog, since it's a new wheel. So thank you for reminding me on that. So, Yeah, no, my King Bee is older, so it does not have the golden whirl, and, you know, its bobbins are a little bit different. Alright, anybody else have any questions? Like I said, you see it's all, you know, magnetic. Because I don't want to make this video crazy long if I'm just boring people, but, if you are seeing this later and it's not live, feel free to comment, and I am happy to answer any questions or make you your own little individual video is fine. So if nobody else has any more questions, I hope that kind of clears up which one to get first. Like I said, I think it would just come down to, you know, what type of yarn you want to spin, and then just like how serious you are about getting a wheel. You know, like I said, if you're one of those people that you're like, I want the whole shebang right now, and I know that's what I want, I would definitely get a Bullfrog. If you like the idea of options and you kind of want to get your feet wet, or if you just, you know, like you're kicking it in an RV or a tiny home or something, the spinolution pollywog, it is fabulous because it's little, and it's, I mean, I've made all sorts of yarn on it, so I think you'd go either way. If you need any additional help or have any questions, feel free to comment or email me or go to my website, or I don't know, the millions of ways you can get me. So I hope that helps, and have a good day. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And like I said, feel free to email me, and I hope I have all my stuff in the, like I said, my website's on the about this of this YouTube channel, and you can see links to all the wheels and stuff there. So let me know, and I'm happy to message anybody anyhow. Bye.